Hi guys, Miss Bergan. We are now going to be going over 10.2. This is another U.S. customary um, uh, conversions as well. That this is talking about cups to fluid ounces, to gallons, to pints, to quarts, all that. The thing is, there is a gallon man out there that people teach with. Teachers tend to teach them by gallon man. I am not a big fan of the gallon man, so I won't teach you that particular way. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to switch my thing around here, and I'm going to talk to you about um, what I call the Geneva Mansion. So in Geneva, this is why I have a big G. Really, the big G stands for gallon, but there is a mansion. Now, a lot of people like to bring up the show Jessie, is what it's called, where she is a nanny to a rich family. So what it is called is there are corridors. Yes, corridors stand with for the letter C is how you would have that, but corridors are spelt with C, but I think they sound like quarters. So there is going to be 4 different quarters in this mansion. One is like the main house comes in and they live in there, as well as like the butler and his family comes in and lives. The nanny comes over and lives, and the chef comes over and lives as well. So this is the Geneva Mansion. Inside each living quarter is 2 parents and then 4 children. So that is what is in each of these. Oh, sorry. 2 parents, 4 children. Now, the next thing that I talk about is that each child then has to bring their stuff in as well. So what they bring in is 8 outfits. Now, it's not outfits, it's really ounces, but they each child brings 8 outfits with them as well when they are all moving in together. So it's really 8 ounces. So I'm just going to write that here. So that's what OZ stands for, is ounces, because there is 8 ounces in 1 cup. So that the C stands for cups. All right, so this is my mansion. Now, it is not fair for one parent to be responsible for all the children. So in order to, if you have 2 parents and 4 children, the easiest thing to do is split them up and make it even. Each parent is responsible for 2 children. So this is my Geneva Mansion. Now, based off of this Geneva Mansion, now you can answer so many questions about this. So in 1 gallon, there are 4 quarts. So the Q's stand for quarts. The parents, the pints are pints. The children are cups. And then the ounces, there's 8 ounces, means that goes to 1 cup. Also, 1 pint or 1 parent has 2 C's, which means 2 cups. So you can answer so many questions off of this, like how many um, how many cups are in 2 quarts? Well, you would just look at 2 Q's and then count how many cups there are. There's 4 plus another 4, that would be 8 cups in 2 quarts. Also, some people would say, well, how many pints are in a gallon? Well, there is 2 here plus another 2 and a 2 and a 2. Well, 2 times 4 is 8 pints in a gallon. Then you could also get, well, how many cups are in a pint? Well, here's cups to 1 pint. There are 2 cups. Or how many ounces are in a quart? Well, how many ounces? Well, there's 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, or 8 times 4 in 1 whole quart. So that would be 8 times 4 is 32 ounces in a quart. So you can answer so many things by this one drawing here. So this is something that you're definitely you should like memorize for the state test, just in case you get it, because on your reference sheet, yeah, you do have it, but they only give it to you like this, which is awfully confusing, because if you want to go from pints to quarts, you are going to have to sometimes do, or cups to gallons, you're actually going to have to do 4 different conversions to get to that answer, versus just looking at this and you can do it all at once. So this is something that I always have my students really memorize for the state test. This really will help you in the long run versus using their way of doing it in this book, which I'm not a fan of. So I'm always good with making it easier on my students. So this is something that I found to be very easy for my students. So again, to do this, I'm going to make a big G. This means G for gallon. Inside the gallon, there are 4 living corridors or quarters. I'm hearing Q's. So in each house, each part of the house, there are 2 parents, and they each brought their 4 children. So then remember to connect each parent to 2 children, or a pint to 2 cups. So you know that those are only connected, because sometimes you could even be, and then each children bring in 8 outfits or ounces. 8, I'm just going to say 8 to make this a little faster. So sometimes you could be asked, okay, how many ounces are in 1 pint? Well, a pint, ounces, well, this is 8, but then also there's another 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16 ounces in 1 pint. So that's why I really like this one. It's all kind of interconnected and going to help you out in the long run. All right, so here we go. The first question is, Mara has a can of paint with 3 cups of purple paint in it. She also has a bucket with a capacity of 26 fluid ounces. Will the bucket hold all the paint that Mara has? All right, so they're saying 3 cups, but this bucket only holds 26 fluid ounces. So what we need to do is we need to change 3 cups to ounces to see if this is going to hold everything. So again, you could look over here. Which one is bigger, a cup or an ounce? A cup is definitely larger, so this is large to small. So therefore, what we're going to be spelling out is lost, which means you are going to times. So we're going to take 3 and we are going to times. Then again, one of our large, 1 cup equals how many ounces? Well, remember each children bring 8 outfits or ounces. So then you would do 8 times 3, which is 24 ounces in 3 cups. So if they have a bucket that holds 26 ounces, will the bucket hold enough? And down here, we came out to 24 fluid ounces. And so 26 fluid ounces is larger than a 24. So since 24 fluid ounces is less than 26 fluid ounces, Mira's bucket can hold all that paint. All right, next it says, what if Mara has 7 cups of green paint in a container that can fill 64 fluid ounces of yellow paint? What color paint does Mira have more of? So 7 cups of green paint and a container that is 64 fluid ounces of yellow paint. So what we have is we have green versus yellow. So we have 7 cups versus 64 ounces. So my advice to you, we are going to be comparing this to see which one we have more of. Well, in this case, we have cups versus ounces. My advice to you again is, if we're comparing two, to change it to the smaller unit. So the smaller unit would be ounces. So this one is already in ounces for us. So now let's go ahead and change 7 cups to ounces as well. So remember, this is large to small, so this is times. And then up here, 1 cup is 8 ounces. So in order to solve this, I would do 8 times 7. What is 8 times 7? That would be 56 ounces. So which one is bigger, 56 or 64? It is 64. So therefore, what color does Mira have more of? She has more yellow paint. Okay, next page. Again, here is that customary chart that they are going to give you on that reference sheet as well for the state test. Again, you don't have to use this way. If you like the big G is what I call it, and you want to draw it again, go ahead and do that, just so that you have another reference on this page. So parent CCCC, 2 parents CCCC, 2 parents CCCC, 2 parents, and 4 children. Remember, each parent is connected to 2 children. And then remember, each child brings 8 outfits. So instead of saying outfits, I'm going to say OZ for ounces, because that's truly what that 8 is for. A cup is 8 ounces. Okay, and this is my mansion in Geneva. All right, so now I can use this to help me answer my questions. So Coral made 32 pints of fruit juice for a party. She needs to carry the punch in 1-gallon containers. How many containers does Coral need? So we are going to figure out 32 pints is going to be, and we need to change that to gallons. All right, so in order to do this, what do you do first is you do your same lost and sold. I'm sorry, I forgot to write that up here. Step 1, you are going to say whether you are going to be doing lost or sold, just like in the last lesson, which was 10-1. And then step 2 is you are going to see whether you are doing one of your large units is blank, how many small units. All right, so now that you did that, now we are going to do this. Which one is bigger, a gallon or a pint? Well, this is definitely larger, so we're going to do small to a large, which means we are going to spell out sold, which means divide. And then 1 gallon has how many pints? So in my entire gallon, how many parents are there? Well, there's 2 plus another 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So there are 8. So in order to solve this, I would do 32 divided by 8, which how many 8s go into 32 would be 4. So therefore, they would need 4 gallons to do this. All right, next. In this case, now it is saying other things. It's saying use the picture to complete the statement below. They want you to convert 3 quarts to pints. I am not a fan of the way that they're trying to show you. They're just trying to show you, okay, 1 quart is 2 pints. So in order to do this, you would just do 3 Qs equals blank pints. So again, which one is bigger? Well, a quart is that big, but then inside there are 2 pints. So actually pints are smaller, and this is your large. So we are going to be timesing here because we're going to spell out lost. All right, so in this case, 1 of our large quart has how many pints? So how many parents are in a quarter? So there are 2. So in order to do this, you would do 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So therefore that would be 6 pints is your answer for that one. All right, next. We are going to figure out 3 gallons is how many pints. So again, which one is bigger, a gallon or a pint? Well, the gallon is larger. So we are going to be spelling out lost, which means times. So we're going to take 3, we are going to times it, and now we're going to figure out what we're going to times it by. 1 gallon equals how many pints? Okay, so again, if I look over here, 1 whole gallon has how many parents inside of it? Well, we already did that up here. That was 8. So we would do 8 times 3. Well, 8 times 3 or 3 times 8 is 24. So your answer is 24. Next, quarts versus pints. Which one is bigger? Well, a quart is definitely larger. So large to small. So we're going to spell out lost again. So that's a times. So we're going to take 5 and times it by 1 quart has how many pints? So 1 quart has how many pints in it? That is only 2. So therefore 2 times 5 or 5 times 2 equals 10. So your answer is 10 pints. Okay, next, to solve this one, a quart or a cup, which one is bigger? Well, a quart is definitely larger. So this is large to small. So this is going to spell out lost, which means times. So we're going to have 6 times, and then 1 of our large, 1 quart, equals how many cups? So in 1 quart, how many cups are inside that quart? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4. So to solve this, I would do 6 times 4. 6 times 4, which is 24 cups. All right, so now we're just going to keep on doing that. Here's the next one. So same thing, a cup or a pint. Well, a cup is smaller, so this would be your large. So we are going to spell out sold. So that means we are going to be dividing. So 38, I know it's going to be 38 divided by. Now I just got to figure out one of our large, 1 pint equals how many cups. All right, now remember, one parent is responsible for how many children? Remember, we link that to make it even, that would be 2. So in order to solve this, I would have to do 38 divided by 2. Well, 2 can go into 3 one time. That'd be 1 left over, which we are good. So I'm going to bring down my next number. How many 2s go into 18? Would be 9. 9 times 2 is 18 with nothing remaining. Your answer would be 19 pints. All right, next one, quarts to gallons. Well, our gallon is definitely our large, so we're doing small to large again. So we're spelling out sold, which means we are going to divide. So 36 divided by, now 1 of our large, 1 gallon, equals how many quarts? How many Q's are inside a gallon? There are 4. So in order to solve this, I would do 36 divided by 4. Which would come out to be 9. So your answer would be 9 gallons. Next, again, figuring out which one is larger, an ounce, 1 ounce versus a cup. Well, they're definitely, your cups are larger. So we are going to spell out sold, which means we are going to divide. So we're going to take 104, we are going to divide. So I'm going to take 104 and I'm going to divide. Now I just got to figure out what I'm dividing by. 1 of my large, 1 cup, equals how many ounces? Well, we have said that 1 cup is 8 ounces. So I'm going to divide it by 8. 8 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 10 one time. When I subtract, that would be a 2. Check it. We are good. So I'm going to bring down a 4. How many 8s go into 24? That would be 3. 3 times 8 is 24 with nothing remaining. My answer would have been 13 cups. If you want to do more, here is more practice that you can try on your own. But that is up to you whether you want to do that or not. I'm going to go on to comparing though. So this one says you are going to compare cups versus pints. Now, since they are not the same thing, remember in 7.1, when I said when we're comparing 2 units, to change them to the smaller unit. So in this case, to make our lives a little bit easier, we're going to change them all down to the smaller unit. So which one is smaller, cups or pints? Well, it would definitely be your cups that are smaller. So therefore, since this one is already in cups, there's nothing to convert, but I'm going to change 14 pints to cups. So this is a large to small, which means I'm going to times. All right, so then 1 pint has how many cups? So 1 parent has how many children? In other words, there are 2. So therefore, I would do 14 times 2. So 14 times 2, that is 8 and 2. So that would be 28. So 28 cups versus 28 cups. Well, that is equal. Next, I have pints versus quarts. Which one is smaller? Well, pints are smaller, so then I got to change this one to pints. So this is your large to small, which means lost. All right, and then 1 quart, 1 Q equals how many pints? So 1 quart has how many parents? That would be 2. So to do this, I would do 13 times 2. 13 times 2, that would be 6. That would be 26 pints versus 25 pints. Which one is larger? It's definitely the 26. All right, next. Cups versus quarts. Which one is the smaller? Since we got to compare these, it is definitely cups. So I'm going to change 20 quarts to how many cups? All right, so in order to do this, I would do large to small again. So I am timesing. So 1 Q has how many cups? Well, 1 Q has 4 cups. So in order to do this, I would do 4 times 20. 20 times 4, that'd be 0 and 8. So that would be 80 cups versus 80 cups. And they are the same, so they are equal to each other. Next, 17. We have gallons versus quarts. So in this case, which one is smaller is definitely the quarts. So then I'm going to change 12 gallons to quarts. So this is a large to small. So I'm going to times. And then 1 gallon has how many quarts? So 1 whole gallon has how many cubes inside of it? That is 4 of them. So in order to do this, I would do 12 times 4. That is 848. So this is 48 quarts versus 50 quarts. What is larger? It is the 50 quarts. Next, I have to bring it down to the smaller one. Ounces is definitely smaller. So in this case, large to small again. So I'm timesing. Then 1 pint or 1 parent has how many ounces? 1 parent is responsible for 2 children. And so then each child is 8 plus another 8. That would be 16. So in order to do this, I am actually going to bring it down here to do it because we're not going to do 20 anyway. So let's do what 18 times 16 is. So 8 times 6 is 48. Carry your 4. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 4 is 10. Then we are done with the 6. We're going to bring it on down. That's a 0. Then you go 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. And then you add, that would be 8, 8, and 2. So it would be 288 ounces versus 320. Which one is bigger? Definitely the 320. Next, which one is the smaller unit? It is definitely cups. So I'm going to change 15 quarts to cups. Okay, so large to small again. So we're timesing. And then 1 quart has how many cups or children? So that is 4. So in order to solve this, I would do 15 times 4. That would be 20, carry your 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So this one is actually 60 cups versus 63. Which one is larger? It's definitely the 63. All right, so we're not going to solve mentally these ones up here. So therefore, that is why I am skipping this one. We're going to go down here. It says Larry made 4 batches of punch. Each batch uses 16 fluid ounces of lemon juice and 3 pints of orange juice. If each serving is 1 cup, how many servings can he make altogether? All right, so what it is saying is that they have lemon juice and then orange juice. So lemon juice needs 16 per batch, 16 ounces. And then orange juice needs 3 pints per batch. Now, it was saying, what is the cups to this? So it wanted to know cups. So now we got to change this to cups and this to cups. Well, 16 ounces is how many cups? Well, that would be 8 plus 8. So that is actually 2 cups. And then 3 parents have how many children? So one, this would be 2, this would be 4, and then one more would be 6. So that would be 6 cups. So total, that comes to be 8 cups for just one batch, but then they're going to be making 4 batches. So then you should have times it by 4, which is 32 cup servings is your final answer. Okay, next thing, it says here's a graph to complete the relationship between quarts and pints. So if you need to go back, you can. In 1 quart, how many parents are in a queue? 1 quart has 2 parents. So if you have 2 of those, that would be 4. So you should be seeing some type of a relationship. This would be 8. So describe a pattern that you could a rule. So the rule here, write a rule to describe the pattern here. So the rule is taking your quarts and timesing it by what is going by here. You're timesing it by 2 should equal your amount of pints. Or you could have also said your pints are double your quart. All right, and then they want you to go ahead and graph this. So 0, 0. So then the next one would be 1 to 2. And then your next one would be 2 quarts would be 4. And then 3 quarts would be 6. And then 4 quarts would be 8. And then you can make a line to see that. Oh, that was a bad line. It's really hard to do. Okay, with only one hand. So that would have been your line of what's going on there. Okay, what other pair of customary units of capacity have the same relationship as pints and quarts? All right, so what they wanted you to see here, I'm not a big fan of this question. So pints to quarts. So pints to quarts. Well, 1 quart has 2 pints. So the other thing that they wanted you to see that has that same 1 to 2 relationship is 1 pint has 2 cups. So that is another, that 1 to 2 relationship here. All right. So this is the other relationship that had that same thing. All right. This one says, Shelby made 5 quarts of juice for a picnic. She said that she made 1.5 cups of juice. Explain her mistake. All right. So she had 5 quarts. And then she was changing it to cups. So this is a large unit to a small. So we are timesing because we're spelling out lost. And then 1 quart equals how many cups? Well, in 1 cube, if I need that picture again, there are 4 cups. So my answer should have been 20. So what did she do wrong Well, I can tell you, I think what she did was she did 5 instead of a times, she divided by 4 because then it would have been 1 1/4. So the mistake was she divided by 4 instead of multiplying by 4. All right, so your homework is next. So again, step 1 is to see whether you are going to be spelling out lost or sold. Then step 2 is figuring out one of your large unit is equal to how many of your small units. And again, use the conversion chart. Actually, not use the conversion chart, use your picture to help you. And we're going to put that picture down here to remind us. The picture is down here. I'm going to make it one more time. You can make it hopefully as big as you can. This is going to be Q and a Q. There's 4 quarters. There is 2 parents and 4 children in each one. Each parent, to be fair, is connected to only 2 of the children. They're responsible for only 2. The other parent is responsible for the other 2. So it's making it even. And then each child bring 8 outfits, or in this case will be ounces. So I'm just going to say 8, 8. And then hopefully you remember that's 8 ounces. I just don't have enough space to write that. But this is something that I definitely want you to memorize for the state test. This is here to help you. And I like this much more than the gallon man. The gallon man does not make any sense to me. So this is what a lot of the kids like. All right, so first step, figure out whether we're going large to small or small to large. So which one is the larger unit here, an ounce or a pint? Definitely your pint is larger. So we are going to spell out sold, which means we are dividing. So we're going to take 192 and we're going to divide. 1 of your pint is how many ounces? So 1 parent has how many ounces? That would be 8 plus 8, that is 16. So now you're going to take 192 and divide it among 16. Can 16 go into 1? No. Can it go into 19? Yes, 1 time. When you subtract, that would be 3. Check it, we are good. So then bring down our next number. How many 16s will go into 32? Well, we can try 2. That'd be 12, carry your 1, that's 32. So that is 2. So then your answer would be 12 pints. Next, the next thing is pints versus cups. Which one is bigger? It is the pints. So we're going to go small to large. So large to small. So we're spelling out lost. So we're timesing. 1 parent has how many children? Well, that is 2. They're responsible for 2 children. So what is 15 times 2? That is 30. So it would be 30 cups. All right, next. If we did 4, again, this ounces versus cups. Cups are larger, ounces are smaller. So we are going to divide here. So 1 cup is how many ounces? So 1 cup, remember how many children brings in how many outfits, that is 8. So if you went and you divided this, 240 divided by 8, 8 cannot go into 2, but it can go into 24 3 times. That'd be 24, 0. Check it, we are good, bring down to 0. How many 8s go into 0? Would be 0. With nothing remaining, your answer would have been 30. Next, quarts versus gallons. This is your large, so that is your small. So we are spelling out sold, so that means divide. 1 gallon has how many quarts? So how many Q's are inside a gallon? There are 4 of them. So that is 4. So you do 32 divided by 4. Well, 32 divided by 4 is 8. So you will have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 17 for homework. And then I am going to help you with these last 4. Again, don't worry about this one. We aren't going to be doing it. So now we're comparing. So one's in ounces and the other one's in pints. Remember, when we're comparing, bring it down to the smaller one. So I'm going to be changing everything to ounces. So large to small, and then that means times. So 1 pint or 1 parent is responsible for how many outfits or ounces? That'd be 8 for the one child and 8 for another. So that would be 16 outfits. So 16 times 16. I'm going to do that down here real quick. That would be 36, carry your 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Then we're done with that. 6, bring down to 0. Then cross out any remainders. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. This would be a 6. This would be 15, carry your 1, and a 2. So that would be 256. So this one would be 256. So 256 versus 100 ounces. Which one is bigger? It is definitely 256. Next, what we would do here is definitely the smaller unit is the ounces. So I'm going to change this to ounces. So this is large to small, so I'm timesing. And 1 cup has how many ounces? That would be 8. 8 times 8 is 64 versus 74. 74 is definitely bigger. Next, cups versus quarts. Which one is bigger? Is definitely your smaller one, which is cups. So I'm going to change quarts to cups. So this is large to small again. So I am still timesing. So 1 Q has how many children? So each Q has how many C's? It is 4. So what is 4 times 3 is 12. So 12 cups versus 12 cups, that is equal. All right, next it says Vicky made a recipe that was 144 fluid ounces of a scented candle wax. How many 1 cup candle molds can she fill with that recipe? All right, so we are taking 144 ounces and we are changing them to cups. So this is small to large. So we are dividing. And then 1 cup is how many ounces? Is 8. So therefore, in this case, I would go ahead and now divide 144 by 8. 8 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 14 1 time. That would be 6 remaining. Check it. We are good. So I could bring down a 4. How many 8s go into 64? That would be 8. So that would be nothing remaining. So therefore, my answer would be 18 cup candle molds. So 18, I should have said candle molds. All right. On the back. On the back of this is you are just going to do 2, 3, 4, and 6. And I'm going to do number 1 with you. It says Rosa made 12 gallons of lemonade to sell at the lemonade stand. How many pints of lemonade did she make? So that would be 12 gallons. And we are it's asking how many pints is that? So again, which one is larger, large to small? So we are timesing because we're spelling out lost. And then 1 gallon has how many parents in it? So how many pints are in a full gallon? So there's 2, 4, 6, 8. So that would be 8. So we would do 8 times 12. All right, so 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16, carry your 1. That would be 8 plus 1 is 9. So that would be 96 pints is what they made. All right, and then I'm going to do number 5 with you. At the building site, there are 16 pallets with stacks of cement. The total weight of all the pallets and cement is 4,856 pounds. Each pallet with the cement weighs the same amount. How much does just each pallet of cement weigh? That means 1 pallet weighs. So this is what 16 weighs. So how do I just figure out what 1 is? Well, in order to do that, I would have to divide these numbers. So do 16. Can 16 go into 4? No. But can it go into 48? Yes. So I'm going to come over here. If you don't know where to start, I always start in the middle of the road. That would be 30, carry your 3. And that would be 8. So that would be 80, which is too high. So now we can bring it on down. I'm going to try 3. That would be 18, carry your 1, and 4. Yep, so it goes in 3 times. That would be 48 with nothing remaining. Check it. We are good. So I can bring down my next 5. How many 16ths can go into 5? That is 0. It can't go in. So 0 times 16 is 0 with 5 remaining. Check it. We are good. Then bring down. Okay, how many 16s will go into 56? Well, again, I can try 1 more, timesing it by 4 because it's close. So that would be 24, carry your 2, that's 64, is too high. So therefore it can only go in 3 times. And then that would be 48, which if you did that, that would be 6 minus 8. You can't do that. So 16 minus 8 is 8. So therefore your answer is 303 and 8 over 16 pounds, which is also known as 303, and then 8/16 is also a half. So these are the same thing. You could have had one of those 2 things. Okay, and that is all for 10-2. Okay, guys, I will see you next time. All right, bye.